Hello, art history enthusiasts. My name is Samantha Jones, and I'm going to take you on a journey through two different artistic eras. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, this is not about the most heavily debated topic of our time, Vine versus TikTok. No, hopefully, through this, you will gain a little insight into two similar movements in art history as we dive into Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. Let's get started with the very beginning, shall we? Which is, what is Impressionism and what does this term even mean? Claude Monet, an artist who is considered to be one of the founding fathers of Impressionism, submitted his painting Impression Sunrise to the first Impressionism exhibition in 1874. The exhibit was put together by artists who called themselves the Anonymous Society of Painters, Sculptors, and Printmakers, etc. These artists did not want their work to be subjected to the Académie des Beaux-Arts artist jury and put together their own exhibition. The painting Monet submitted was wildly unlike the paintings that were normally seen during this time. An art critic by the name of Louis Leroy did not like the unfinished and sketch-like qualities of Monet's painting and called it an impression. By the third Impressionist exhibition, the artists were reclaiming the term that was being used against them and started calling themselves Impressionists. Claude Monet was raised in Le on the Normandy coast of France until he moved to Paris in 1862, where he went to pursue his artistic career. Go Monet! He became well known for his modernized landscapes that were considered highly inappropriate for Barbizon artists. Claude Monet's Bridge over a Pond of Water Lilies is a beautiful example of Impressionism and is currently available to be viewed at the Met Fifth Avenue in Gallery 819. This particular piece by Monet is one out of a series of 12. The oil painting is measured to be 36.5 by 29 inches and is one of the only two vertical pieces in the set, thus making it unique. Immediately looking at this piece, you notice the technique that Monet used. The piece consists of small brushstrokes of pure color, which was a staple in Impressionistic paintings. There isn't anything heavily rendered within this piece, and all the shadows and lights are created using different vibrant colors that actually weren't seen much until the 19th century had developed synthetic pigments. The use of vibrant pigments and relaxed brushstrokes create a carefree atmosphere within the oil painting. In fact, there's nothing that's outlined or anything really that could be considered form in this piece. There are two main points, however: the Japanese-style footbridge and the pond itself. There's a contrast between the vertical and rigid bars of the bridge versus the free-flowing and horizontal lines that come from the lilies below. The line of the red shadow of the bridge and the bridge itself create this sense of an ellipse that allows the eyes to be drawn into where the lilies are floating. The hues used in this piece create an amazing depth, helped probably by the use of oil paint, and overall creates a lush and earthy feeling. The main colors seem to be green and yellow-green hues, tints, shades, and Monet really carefully uses splashes of yellow, whites, and light pinks to accentuate the lilies. The subject of Monet's Bridge over a Pond of Lilies is a pond that is from a piece of land in Monet's property in Giverny. Monet was incredibly proud of this water garden, and it consisted of plants bought in other countries, and the Giverny locals often refer to it as the Japanese garden. Over a course of 20 years, Monet ended up painting approximately 100 images of his pond. Now, some artists believe that there was just way too much being given up within Impressionistic paintings just for the sake of an optical illusion. They believe that they could be something deeper and really further that could be obtained that Impressionists just were simply not doing. These artists created unique art styles and tried to convey emotion and have a sense of form throughout their paintings, and just not a simple momentary sensation. Ironically, this next generation of artists had also had their name derived from an art critic. Roger Fry, a critic who studied both psychology and art, called these artists who were softly revolting against Impressionists Post-Impressionists at his exhibition in the Grafton Galleries in London in 1910. Roger Fry believed that Post-Impressionists seek to create form, not imitate life, but find an equivalent for life. Vincent van Gogh is a bittersweet example of post-impressionist artists. He grew up as the son of a pastor, and some of his work is heavily influenced by his upbringing. In 1886, Van Gogh moved to Paris, where he collected and became influenced by Japanese prints. In 1889, Van Gogh voluntarily surrendered himself to an asylum in Saint-Remy, France, due to him having epilepsy and episodes of self-mutilation. Within this year before he commits suicide, Van Gogh painted approximately 130 paintings, which is honestly astonishing. Now, let's take a look at Vincent van Gogh's Irises, which is one of the paintings he started within his first week at the asylum. According to the Met's official website, this oil painting clocks in at about 74.3 by 94.3 centimeters. It is believed that the vibrant colors of this piece were inspired by the Japanese prints that Van Gogh had collected when he moved to Paris. Looking at this piece, you can immediately see the influence of Impressionistic style, but there's more. The colors are incredibly vibrant, and the overall palette creates a happy and tranquil atmosphere. However, notice that compared to Monet's paintings, the colors appear to be more flat, despite their increased saturation. That's because Van Gogh had a different intention than Monet when painting the piece. Van Gogh was focusing on the more traditional aspects while maintaining the carefree feeling of Impressionism. On the lower right of the painting, you see the dirt that the irises are planted in and how similar those brushstrokes are to Impressionistic painting. However, looking at the irises themselves, they have a sense of form that's created through dark outlines that are signature to Van Gogh's art. There's a slight sense of distorted perspective between the bottom half of the painting that contains the irises and the background flowers. The form of the irises is beautiful as they twist and curve in various directions. The line of the petals bleeding into the necks that allows the eyes to travel over the entire painting. The dirt serves as a nice place for the eyes to take a break, despite its complexity. According to the Met's website, there is actually no known sketches for this painting, and it's believed to have been a study of the flowers, which may have been why each of the irises have such a unique personality to them. It's amazing to see how Impressionism is so radical in its time, yet there were some artists who believed that they could go further and create meaning. While Impressionism was looked down upon by many critics for being too scandalous, it actually paved the way for other artists to say that they weren't going far enough. It's lovely to analyze how Monet truly relied on the small strokes of color to create his forms, while Van Gogh straight up outlined them. They both feel spontaneous and loose, but have a completely different way of doing it. Monet's painting looks like something that you'd see when dreaming about somewhere you've been or want to go, but Van Gogh's painting make you seem like you're going into an entirely different world. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the beginnings of Impressionism to Post-Impressionism, and through the works of art by Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh.